I didn't wake up one morning and say, hey, you know what would be great? What would be great is if God put me together with a bunch of other highly idealistic, exceptional young people who wanted to change the world, and we went and got involved somehow in serious situations children shouldn't be involved in, like issues of drug dealing and prostitution on the streets and stuff like that, and somehow managed to bring a change and a difference to people's lives through chance encounters and through being in the right place at the right time. Surely God doesn't want young people to amass influence. I mean, that would just be absurd. Young people having influence in society? Yet that's exactly what I believe God wanted to give us. After all, we're idealistic enough to actually try and use our influence to help other people, to actually try and reform systems and places and situations, to try and break the status quo. Other people are afraid to break the status quo. When you give us power, I say us as if I was still a teenager, when you give teenagers actual power, they will break the status quo. Which is probably why no one ever wants to give it to them. And for all of these reasons and more, I thought I was qualified. And now I don't feel qualified at all. I look at my body and I see something that's old, something that runs out of energy and puff so much more easily than it once did. I see skin that doesn't have the same snap, that has accumulated wrinkles and stretch marks and soft spots. I see muscles that take real effort to get big. I mean, they say for teenagers, they actually lose muscle mass in the night from sleeping. That's how responsive their bodies are. They gain muscle mass during the day simply from their daily exercise. So much so that they can afford to lose it again at night from being inactive. So you imagine how quickly a teenager could train his body to be stronger or faster or... I see a hurting, broken person when I look in the mirror who has the wear of 10 years on his face. 10 years of disappointment. 10 years of not living out his dreams. 10 years of wrinkles and fine lines and cranial development, and I don't mean the neurological kind. I mean the kind that makes you look a bit like a Neanderthal, with all of this going on. I see all of that and I think I'd do anything just to be able to wake up one morning the way I was 10 years ago and to be able to forget. To be able to forget 10 years of disappointment. You know, ideally younger than 10 years ago, because frankly, my life started to suck around 18. That's when the cracks were really starting to show on all my dreams. And if I'd had been less hard-headed, if I had been more the kind of person willing to admit defeat, it wouldn't have taken me another 5 years to look into some other teenager's eyes and realize all my dreams had crumbled. So if I seem vain and pretentious and covetous and creepy because I envy teenagers to an extent and in a way that other people can't relate to. If I seem vain because I say I wish I was younger looking, prettier looking, cuter, in that way teenage boys can be cute. If I say I wish I was healthier, stronger, faster, if I say I wish I felt that my mind was more responsive, more able to learn things quickly, less exhausted by the daily grind of living. And if you are offended by me saying those sorts of things, then you can take a running jump, because you're no friend of mine, if that's the way you think. But I would swap the last 7 years for the 7 before them, if I could. I really, really would. Without hesitation. Sadly, the universe is not usually so kind. So with things like one of the things I have learnt as I have grown older is sometimes there is no right thing to say. There is nothing that can make it better. No words that can mitigate the situation. There's no alternate point of view that will make sense to anyone. You can't argue away pain. You can't try to change someone's perspective and make it just disappear. Sometimes pain just is. And the only thing that'll do anything about it is changing the things that caused it to begin with. No time, no sympathy, no counselling, no coping strategy can make it go away. Not properly. And the proof of that is this slightly pixelated, awful photo that shows a ghost, a fuzzy shadow of who I used to be. If that can distress me over 10 years later, or more like over 12 years later, or nearly 12 years, if that can bring tears to my eyes, don't tell me that there is some cure that involves just changing your point of view. Because sometimes all other points of views are lies. Sometimes it is only one way to understand something that fits with the facts.